Yeah.
All right, guys, so we are going to get this started. It's going to be Snutz, Cdew, and Talbadar on the Shadowplay going up against Karvinen, Abni, and Maldiva on this Mage Lock Pally. We can see Talb's just going to run in there. He's going to throw down the MDs, just dispel some of those buffs off. It's pretty annoying, obviously, to deal with. And he's not too worried about spending a lot of mana at the start, but it looks like, has he? No, never mind.
No, he was actually polymorph stunned. Did you think he was DC'd?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because you don't pay attention to the polymorph stun, Azael. But
that's a good thing you're here to carry me, bro. But we do see lots of dots are out on Maldiva and Abni. Maldiva's taking quite a bit of damage already. Cdew's just kind of in good position back behind there. He's going to be spamming down the dispels. But they're going to go hard on the Cdew, I think. Maybe no. I thought they were going to use that for a polymorph stun, but they're actually going to let it sit full with their sphere onto Maldiva.
I think that he actually just wasted a lot of DRs. He polymorphed like everyone on the Shadowplay team within 5 seconds. That's a lot of DRs wasted.
It's a lot of polys, bro.
That, man. Yeah, but Abni's at 81% health, Maldiva at 95% health. Karvinen is actually already down to 80% mana or so. Abni is sitting in the middle, casting polymorphs still. They really need to get damage going, man. He's just spam removing curses. He's actually rebuffing, which is really good. Not enough players do that, but they need to get some form of damage rolling. You can see him channeling those arcane blasts right now into, looks like Snutz's pet. But yeah, Snutz down to 79% health. A spell lock onto Maldiva. Looks like he might have juked it. Snutz is stuck in impact right now. Talbadar getting dots up on everything. I just saw him cast 3 VTs in a row. And Talbadar dispelling dots off himself. Snutz at 70% HP right now, down to 58%. Taking a little bit of damage actually, but Abni did just use Arcane Barrage, and I think that still removes all stacks of that Arcane Blast. Am I correct in saying that?
I don't know what you said, so I'm not sure, but there's the Palm Sheep coming out onto Cdew. It's going to be full. Snutz is into that Death Coil, so he could be in a little bit of trouble, but Cdew doesn't think so. He's not even going to Trinket, so we will see Snutz. He's just going to sit in the middle even. He got locked, but I mean, a shield came out of Talbadar. He's going to get picked back up. Cdew was into that impact stun. Obviously, he just wants to hold his Trinket and everything. Cdew probably knows that the only way that they're going to lose is some insane burst on him. So we'll just have to see if that's going to come out. We see Arcane Power is actually popped. They're going to go hard on his Snutz here. He's going to blink back there, but Abni getting feared away instantly, and I think that Arcane Power could possibly get dispelled.
Yeah, for sure. You're a jerk, by the way, but Snutz did switch to Demon Armor, so he's going to be picked up just fine. Full dots on Maldiva. Abni looks like he's probably going to get fully dotted right here, but yeah, Maldiva does have every single dot on him as long as a Curse of Tongues. Curse of Tongues, by the way, is going to be so crucial here because there is no healer to dispel it. The mage has to be dispelling that. And Abni did just pop his little mana gem, and I think he has that talent that increases his damage done for that, so maybe he's trying to line up some burst here, but he's also just spending a lot of mana, man. Lots of spell steals, lots of mana shields. Like, look at him, he's cast 2 spell steals, followed by a poly, followed by 2 spell steals. So he's actually going to have to evocate just for mana. He's out of the game for a little bit right now. Yeah, we do see Spellock wasn't there on a Karvinen, and he's doing a good job with his mana. Not much is happening on either side. Maldiva's down to 50% HP. I honestly feel like Talbadar and Snutz are kind of slow playing this more than they have to. I wouldn't mind seeing them push in on Karvinen. We haven't seen a single CC landed on Karvinen the whole game. I feel like they're just kind of being overly safe. They're kind of just, okay, we can just sit back. We'll never die. We'll just wait until they die, or or whatever. But, if you get in there, you get some fears on Karvinen. I think some swaps on Karvinen it could get a lot of damage rolling for them. Yeah, Talbadar does use the Disperse right there. I'm not sure if that was entirely for damage or just for mana back, but his mana is pretty healthy right now. Snutz's pet is getting kind of low on health. Maldiva's pet, on the other hand, is sitting pretty at 80% health. Stuck in a fear, no counterspell coming from Maldiva right now. Snutz is in a fear himself. Cdew at 83% health. It looks like both mana is
Karvinen. I mean, there was a disarm into the fear. Talbadar's going to try to be lining up some damage. We're going to have to see if Snutz is going to be able to get involved. There's a Soul Swap Healthstone used by Karvinen. Maldiva also dipping, but Karvinen's the one going to get Death Coiled. Unfortunately, it was DR'd because of that disarm before that, so a little bit of a mix-up there, but it's not going to matter. Still, they're getting some pressure rolling because of that swap, and I like that they are finally pushing in. Snutz is on the same pillar that Karvinen's on. I'm sure he'll be looking for a fear soon. Yeah, you can see Abni at 85% health. Almost no dots on him. Maldiva does have full dots. Cdew at 74. He does dispel a UA. Snutz going for a banish. Maldiva taking a lot of damage, down to 58% HP. Looks like he caught a nice big heal from Karvinen right there. Karvinen is stuck in a little War Stomp right there. 25% health on Maldiva. He is in double death range, but he does get picked up nicely. Talbadar does get stuck in a Hodge. He's completely fine, though. Cdew is caught in a Hex. Got reflected. That's 2 series in a row. That meta's the best. I take it back.
Yeah, man, I told you, but Talbadar isn't a full fear, fully dotted. Looks like Abni is going to be tunneling damage into Snutz, but Snutz, okay, now he has dots. A soul swap did just come from Maldiva. Snutz relaying his port, doesn't want that thing to disappear. Talbadar at 81% health, stuck in a polymorph stun. He's probably raging right now because that's the most annoying thing in the world. But he does use his disperse. He comes out of it, throw him some pressure out. Looks like he has dots up on Maldiva. And Maldiva's playing it pretty safe too, man. He's just staying back, relaying his port, shadow warning, just stuff like that. He's not really going too offensive. But Cdew is stuck in a full poly right now. Looks like Talbadar going for a massive spell, ends up getting a UA off of Snutz. So that might have actually been a good thing, depending on if they can lock down Maldiva, but he does end up getting another UA out right away.
A Hex onto Abni, followed up by the Fear onto Karvinen. I think they're going to go back onto him. You can see the Purge is coming down onto Karvinen from Cdew. He's trying to clean him off. But instead, they're just going to keep the pressure rolling on Maldiva and everything. Cdew is now feared in the middle, so they might want to try to swap on him out of that. Instead, it looks like they're just going to get dots onto Snutz and use the Hodge on Cdew for CC.
I think they actually need to hit Abni a lot more just to actually get some kills going, but it is really hard for a Warlock and a Shadow Priest to hit a Mage just because they have Mage armor, and Mage armor almost makes Shadow's Embrace do nothing unless you get a nice Nightfall proc. It can't stack, so the Warlock actually does a lot less damage to a Mage. Talbadar did dip down a little bit, though, but I think he got Polymorph, which just regen his health, and then he got impacted. But Snutz is taking a little bit of fire. He's at 69% health with full dots on him and a spell lock on him. But Abni's not really tunneling damage. He's just casting Polymorph. But here comes the Arcane Power, possibly going to see some real damage rolling. Talbadar looks like he's slowing Karvinen right now, just stacking his Mind Flay buff. And here comes some damage onto Snutz, down to 58% health. But it seems like every time Abni pops Arcane Power, Maldiva doesn't have dots up. I think Abni needs to wait and wait for pressure to be rolling to actually pop that stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, Cdew was behind on mana, but he just got a drink. It wasn't really stopped. Abni's in some trouble now. There's an MCS followed up by the disarm on a Karvinen, a Fear and a Hex, both trinketed by Maldiva. But Abni's going to be behind the pillar. Things are pretty even because even with that drink, Cdew is behind on mana a little bit, so it's not like they're ahead, but I just feel like Snutz and Talb could be playing a lot more aggressive. I think they're just kind of slow playing it more than they need to. And honestly, if it does keep up like this, the game could possibly time out, which would not be a good situation for them. There is an impact on a Cdew CS onto Talbadar, who is just mind spiking away on Abni right now.
Yeah, Abni down to 47% HP, blinking behind a pillar, conjuring another mana gem. Cdew stuck in a full fear right now. I think he has Tremor, but he's actually holding it, which is actually really smart. But Talbadar is at 50% HP, but he gets polymorphed, and that brings him up to 73 all by itself. Cdew does throw down a Mana Tide. He's spamming his Dispels. Karvinen is at 84%. Abni is at 63%. Abni actually taking a lot of damage. He doesn't... I think he actually might have Evocate pretty soon. I'm pretty sure they have a talent that reduces the time on that, but I don't really know too much about Arcane Mages, which is why I'm kind of asking for backup regarding some of their talents, but...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about them either, but
yeah, man.
it's he's just pulling and he's isolancing right after it for the stun, so they're not actually getting HP from that. That's one thing he's doing, because they don't actually regen HP in the stun, even though it shows it as a poly. So you can see, he just polys and he isolates his arcane barrages. He does pop that arcane power. He's trying to get some damage done, but he's just standing in the middle. And he's at 30% HP. There's a disarm on Karvinen, who is going to throw out that freedom. He has wings up, so he's going to try to get that Abni topped off, but. Cdew was into a short poly there. Snutz was spell lock. He has full dots on Snutz and Talbadar. So good job from Maldiva. He's going to port away, life tap up a little bit, allow Karvinen to top his team off. Karvinen's going to pop his plea once again. Hex is out on Abni though from Cdew.
Yeah, and Karvinen is actually still doing pretty decent on mana. He's at probably 55%, 60%, but he keeps throwing out freedoms. There's not too many slows coming from the Shadowplay. I think that's one of the reasons why Shadowplay isn't this amazing god comp, is because they don't have enough snares. But Snutz's pet did just die. He has to life tap to get a new one out, and he actually... Okay, now he has one. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, Snutz does have dots on Karvinen and on Abni, and Talbadar has dots on Abni and one Devouring Plague on Karvinen. Looks like a Sans just went out, but Talbadar is choosing to disperse. He's at 50% HP with full dots and a Curse of Tongues. Cdew is sitting in another full polymorph, followed by another fear.
Yeah, Cdew just hasn't, he hasn't used a tremor or a trinket or anything this whole game. He's just holding it because I don't think he's ever scared about his team dying unless it's him. So he is just gonna throw down that war stomp. He's gonna get those heals rolling, get his team top back off. But still, I think the big concern here for the Shadowplay is just the game timing out. And if they're not gonna be more aggressive on Karvinen, it possibly could. But there's the bubble coming into Karvinen as Snutz gets a fear. Maldiva's in some trouble, down to 50% HP. Disarm on him. Try to keep him in place for that damage. But a triple howl coming out. There's the tremor from Cdew, removing it off everyone. He tries to dispel that sheep, but actually gets a UA.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Cdew at 50% mana. Karvinen kind of dipping down, man. He's at 20% mana or so. He's going to have to probably go for a drink, but against a Shadowplay that's not really viable. Abni is at 85% health with full dots on him. I really want to see them go more offensive, man. I know everybody wants to see him go more offensive, but they're really playing it very safe, and I can't really blame him too much because, it is for money here. They need this win to get out of the group. Talbadar is stuck in a Hodge behind the pillar, was out of line of Cdew's dispel, so that was a little unfortunate for them as well. Snutz going for the banish on Maldiva's pet, but he doesn't have any dots on him whatsoever. Cdew still at 50% mana. Here comes a plea from Karvinen. Abni is trying to get some damage out. Dispelling those curses that Snutz is really good at applying. Maldiva at 84% HP with no dots on him, but it looks like they might try and go for a kill on Karvinen right now.
And this is what they need to do. There's a silence coming out of that fear. There's a frost shock for the snare. He's going to be in some trouble here. He has no trinket. If there's a coil or anything to follow that up, but Guardian does come out. So if he's able to get any wogs off, he's going to top himself off. He's still at 50% though. Into that howl. Now coming out of it, he's going to get across the map, but Maldiva could be in some trouble because they're split up. Maldiva is going to be the target. He's at 6% HP. He has 0 mana. He has to tap. He goes into demon armor. So a big heal from Karvinen is going to top him off. But it's important to note, only about 3 minutes left before the game does time out.
Yeah, and I think this game might actually time out, man. They need more offense, but Snutz's pet is in a banish right now. Maybe they can line something up on him. Cdew does catch another UA. Talbadar is in another polymorph because, Abni loves spamming that key, but Abni actually just frost armored for a half second and then switched back to mage armor. That's a little weird. Probably just a mishit, little fat finger. Oh. Yeah, possibly.
That's my guess, is that his mage armor was getting low or something, and he's did sequence macro, or who knows. But anyway, he's going to throw that polymorph stun onto Snutz, but Karvinen's in some trouble. He's feared. He gets into the silence. He's actually LOSing in the corner there, but because he's a fat Tauren, he's still able to be hit. He's at 45% HP. There's Poly's coming out, but he's in a lot of trouble here. And look at all the pressure they get every time they go him. They get him so low. Maldiva's, still really low. He can't tap either. So this is what they need to do. This is a strategy they have to employ if they want to get a kill here, but, time is going to be running out.
Yeah, Maldiva does have full dots from Tal, whereas Snutz has full dots on Abni. Abni currently decursing himself, trying to get tongues off, no doubt. But Abni's still at 77% health, still throwing polymorphs. Talbadar at 79 with full
one of Karvinen followed up by the war stomp. He could go down here. He's at 33% refeared. He's going to need a lot of heals if he's going to survive. There's a silence, and he is going to go down. So just like that, that's what I was waiting for. I didn't really understand why they weren't going on to Karvinen earlier. But they are going to get the kill, just kind of took a long time to do it. So it will be a 1-0 lead here for the Shadowplay, and I think the next games will probably be faster. They should realize now that that's what they have to do.
Abni is the highest rated Arcane Mage, though. He's probably the only Arcane Mage rated over 2100 or something.
Yeah, probably.
But, he is still nonetheless really high rated. But
yep.
Here we go. Talbadar getting dots out immediately. That was a really good job. Karvinen already dispels the VT though, but full dots on Abni. Abni removing his curse. Snutz doing the soul swap, but I don't think he's actually released it. Maybe he still has the buff, but no one else got dotted. Maybe he still swapped onto a pet. Yeah, it looks like he still swapped onto the pet, man. It's at 63%. Looks like they're gonna. I think that might be their strat this game, is kill every single pet, and then hopefully land a kill on Maldiva. But Karvinen is gonna sit this full fear, which means this first pet is almost 100% going to go down. It's at 11%, which is double death range, but Talbadar coming out of his fear right now. And it looks like he isn't going to death it, actually. A pet banish, actually. And now Maldiva's at 66%. Karv does throw out a sack. Talbadar choosing to disperse because he is taking a lot of damage. He is at 53%. He actually Healthstoned right there and threw a Power Word Shield out. Abni is going to sit a long fear, but he has full dots, so it does end up breaking. Maldiva also stuck in a fear. Maldiva's pet didn't actually end up dying, by the way.
Cdew actually sat a full fear and then tremor and a half howl, which I definitely disagree with. I think he was being a little too greedy with that tremor. So that was a little bit silly, but I don't think it's going to be too impactful. There's a fear onto Karvinen. Looks like they're just going to use that for CC, though. No interest in going him just yet. Maldiva's in a lot of trouble, and he is actually just going to die.
Okay. What? He was at like, I'm gonna turn on the
Snutz
screen.
EU laughs. It was his pet was dead, and he was at 30% HP, and he life tapped, and he got mind blasted, and that's GG.
That was so good, man.
I mean, we all knew it was going to come eventually. It was just a matter of time. You know, you kept at it, you practiced those jokes, and it's paid off, Conrad. So congratulations.
Yo, man, I
Must
got
be a
some
big day
sick
for you.
jokes lined up, but Talbadar is Curse of Exhaustion. I don't really plan jokes, but Talbadar is Curse of Exhaustion running in, gets Polymorph stunned, always annoying. Cdew did dispel a UA, so he's a little low on health right now. Dispels another UA, and Snutz also taking some Arcane Blast to the face. An instant Polymorph comes out onto Cdew, and here comes some damage. This is actually a really good setup for this MLP. Talbadar down to 60%, throws a silence out onto Abni, who did Arcane Power. That was really smart. Karvinen also got feared right there, and Abni's pressure is almost lost entirely. Talbadar is at 70%, and the dots are coming off. So really nice job by the Shadowplay preventing a lot of that burst. They're not entirely out of the woods yet, though. But okay, now they're pretty much out of the woods.
Well, I mean, and the thing to note is, although they do sometimes dip someone, Cdew has yet to use a Trinket, NS, or Spirit Link in this series, and I don't think he even used a Tremor more than maybe once or twice. He just sits through everything because he's not really worried about his teammates dying. So we do see that Abni had to evocate and Trinket there. He's in some trouble, but Karvinen's going to be able to pick him back up. The damage is now rolling on Maldiva, though. He has an entire line of dots. There's a dots now on Abni as well. You can see him spamming out those decurses, removing them from his teammates as much as he can. He's going to blink back, try to get something going. He actually popped Talbadar off the bridge with that mana shield exploding, so that's pretty nice.
You know, I was actually about to say, if I were Abni, I'd really push in, throw a mana shield on myself when I have dots, and I just try and knock people off. And I think that's actually what he did to Snutz right there, but Snutz poured it up. I think Abni's actually doing really well this game. Some really good play. He blinks in, looks like he's trying and get some damage out, but I don't really know, man. He's just getting tunneled into, and Talbadar stuck in a fear into a poly. They really need to get some more pressure going, and Maldiva's pet actually almost died there, but it does catch a heal. Karvinen is an excellent player, by the way, but Talbadar gets knocked off again. But I was going to say, Karv is so good at being aware of pet health and everything. He's definitely one of the top paladins I've seen. Played with him a few times.
He's a great player. I mean, Cdew just sat a full fear once again, though. No one on his team got below 98%, and it's like he's now going to sit a full poly. You know, he just isn't going to trinket anything. There's just not enough damage coming out of this team to force it. He's now in another fear. He's just going to sit that too. Talbadar, you know, going to use Healthstone. He's coiled too, but you know everything's fine. And this is the problem. It's like, you know, they can't have more CC than that, but they just got no damage rolling. Tal's going to get knocked off again. Actually, he's probably raging at the moment. But Snutz is going to go into that Hodge. Cdew's going to swap that Earth Shield over some Arcane Blast coming out of Abni, so they're getting a little bit of damage rolling. Talb now spell locked. Karvinen is rotting though. He's going to pull back, chop himself off with those Holy Lights.
Yeah, so Abni is at 50% health right now, and Talbadar's doing some great spread pressure. I think this might be it, actually. Down to 23%, has the Ice Block, but I think we're about to see... Okay, Talbadar is stuck in a fear. I'm sorry, I thought we were going to see a massive spell into My Blast Death, but that was a really nice fear by Maldiva. He knew his mage was going to have to block, and he didn't want Talbadar to be getting that off. But I'm almost wondering if Cdew is just trying his hardest not to use anything, to sort of be like, yeah, I didn't even have to do that, or something like that. You know what I mean? Sort of just playing mind games with this MLP here.
Cdew's diss move is the NS Healing Rain. So if he throws that NS Healing Rain at the end with the link, then we know that was the case. But Maldiva is down to 50% HP. Fear comes out on the Abni. It's going to break immediately though. Maldiva's just going to kind of run back there. He should be just fine for now. But Karvinen is hurting a little bit on mana. He's doing his best, trying to keep his team topped off. The pressure on Abni is pretty huge though, and I feel like Snutz and Talb at any time can kind of just push in and start getting some more CC on Karvinen and probably finish off the game.
Yeah, and he doesn't have Ice Block for a good while. We saw him use it about 45 seconds back or so. But here comes the Arcane Power and the Polymorph onto Talbadar, rather, but I think Cdew dispelled it instantly, so he didn't get the stun off. Talbadar then disperses. He's at 60% HP. Looks like he's going to get picked up just fine. But Abni is at 55%. Maldiva
and there's a full spell lock on Karvinen, and he just came out of the bubble, got locked at the very end of the cast. Nice job by Snutz. This might be the end here for Abni. He's trying to evo behind the pillar, but Maldiva's taking a lot of damage as well. Abni will live. Cdew spelling another UA. He is feared. He actually tremors that one. So he's going to come up. He doesn't want Talbadar to die. Talbadar is in that Hodge. No dots just yet. He's going to dispel some dots off himself. We see that Palm Poly onto Cdew. Is he going to trigger this one? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, Cdew really just sitting everything. A nice massive spell from Talbadar, actually. I was a little worried. I thought he might get a UA, but I know he probably placed that massive spell perfectly so he wouldn't hit any UAs, so nice job. Karvinen did end up drinking that Howl of Terror right there, but he got silenced immediately. Abni down to 45%. I think Abni could possibly go down to 25%. A Dispel on Karvinen. Abni going to go down. Really nice job. A Death Coil coming on to Talbadar just a little too late.
Yeah, I mean, it was good play, honestly. I'm pretty impressed by Karvinen. He's a really good Paladin. Maldiva and Abni both played as well as they could as well. But, I mean, it's like the Shadowplay, the players on the Shadowplay are so strong, and then just the comp, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like